Hello people, my name is Jesus, also known as Jesse, and today I'm going to be talking about marijuana. And I'm pretty sure most of you guys know the legal status of marijuana, which is throughout the states it's illegal except in Colorado, and also in 22 states medical marijuana is permitted. However, I'm not here to claim that we should legalize it. My claim is that the inconsistency of marijuana laws throughout the United States harms people's rights or affects people's rights. And I'm going to say a little statement that I got from the whitehouse.gov website. These state laws vary greatly in their criteria and implementation, and many states are expecting vigorous internal debates about the safety, efficacy, and legality of their marijuana laws. Now, to support this claim, I have three secondary claims. The first one is that federal law can intervene with states with medical marijuana laws. The second one is that several states have different laws, and this can affect people's rights in their own states. And the third one, laws conflict with each other in the same laws conflicting with each other in the same county affect citizen laws. For the first secondary claim that I have, as I said before, 21 states have the medical marijuana law in place, but from another statement from the whitehouse.gov, these state marijuana laws do not change the fact that using marijuana continues to be an offense under federal law. So if the federals really wanted to come to like a state that you can actually use medical marijuana, they can actually go to you and say like, no, we're going to take you to court because you're using this, and the state can't really protect you from that because it's a whole different law. And then for my secondary claim, what I was saying is that each state has different laws. And I read a book last quarter called Reefer Madness by Eric Schulzer, and he has an example of two states having different laws, Ohio and Indiana. In Ohio, you can have amount of marijuana and be fined $100. But if you drive across the state line to Indiana, you can get caught with marijuana. You can get your car confiscated, your license revoked, and you may have to pay a fine of $10,000, and you might also serve time in prison. And I feel like this kind of creates conflict with people, because if they're going to another state, their original citizen rights in their own state is basically ignored. So then you're going to have to serve the laws from the other state that you're actually in, where you got caught with marijuana. And then my third claim was that there's laws that conflict within the same state or in county. For an example, in San Francisco, Lake County, where medical marijuana is allowed, there was an instance where law enforcement raided medical patients' homes without a warrant. And there was a ballot involving called the Measure N, and the Measure N restricts medical marijuana patients from cultivating or producing plants or planting plants to a specific amount. So like within an acre, you can only have around 14 plants, and if you have 20 acres, you can have around 48 to 72, but then again, you have to cover these fields. However, quoting federal court Judge Henderson, Measure N shouldn't be enforced by warrantless searches. And also, a judge from San Francisco by the name of, where is it? Either way, the judge said that, his name is Joe Elford, and he said federal lawsuits that the Lake County Sheriff's Office has been conducting paramilitary-style raids without warrants to proper abatement notices required by law. And so that's going against the Measure N, and also the plaintiffs, the the medical marijuana patients even said they claim that with their law enforcement coming into their homes affected their Fourth Amendment rights, which is you cannot enter someone's house without a warrant. So overall, the inconsistency of marijuana laws affect people negatively, affecting their rights. In some states, people are allowed to smoke and cultivate marijuana for medical purposes, but yet they can be taken to court if federal law interferes. Having several laws differing in neighboring states and even within states causes conflicts between the rights of people in their own states. Finally, laws even conflict with each other within a state may affect a citizen's right. Thank you.
All right, well, the topic's clear. I think that you did steer clear of the legalization issue. You're talking instead about the consistency of the laws. I still think you need to define what rights it is that you were speaking about, because I'm not exactly sure why somebody's rights are violated because they are not obeying the laws of the state that they are in. There might be an explanation for that, but I don't know what it is. Just as an example, if the law... if the highest speed limit in Texas is 85 and I get to California and I can't drive 85 and I get a ticket for doing so, why is that a violation of my rights because I have to observe California's speed limit and I can't drive the speed limit that they have in Texas where I come from? You know, I know that there might be a civil rights issue that's involved here. There might have something to do with what, you know, penalties being disproportionate or something like that. But that's where that argument, I think, is going to have to come from. And I think you need a little bit more definition on those points. The secondary issues are outlined reasonably well. The first point, you actually had some source citations that talked about what the status of the laws is. And I don't think there's a lot of controversy on that. I think most people are aware of the fact that there are variations in the law. The bigger issue is, are there harms that occur because of the variations in the law? Then you mentioned a hypothetical situation of somebody going from Ohio to Indiana. Do we have any actual examples of people who suffered that way? Are the people in Indiana who have the same amount of marijuana that people in Ohio have, are they being locked up and given these harsh sentences that you're talking about? I think you need some data that talks about those particular things. The stuff about Measure N, which you get into, and I'm not exactly sure how that applies because there are inconsistencies in the way laws are interpreted on a local level. I think that's okay. I'm still not quite clear on what Measure N is supposed to do, and if there are warrantless searches and warrantless searches violate the U.S. Constitution, then Measure N has nothing to do with it. They violate the U.S. Constitution, and that should be the grounds for whatever appeals people are making on that situation, and that sounds consistent as opposed to inconsistent. If the law enforcement agencies are acting in violation of the Constitution because Measure N tells them to do so, that's what you need to clarify. And that was not very, it didn't make much sense to me where you were going with that particular argument. Okay.